Muyiwa Olasende embodies the inspiring fusion of a builder and designer, thriving at the cutting edge of innovation. As a talented product designer at Invest Bamboo, a renowned investment powerhouse in Africa, Muyiwa crafts remarkable experiences that redefine the industry. Not content with mere excellence, it pushes the boundaries of his craft as a member of the esteemed McKinsey Product Academy 2023 cohort, where it collaborates with top-tier product leaders and managers to shape the future. However, Muiwa's passion extends beyond the realm of design. With his financial valuation and modeling certification, he leverages his expertise as a wealth manager at Pigeon Puerta Capital, a distinguished fund management firm celebrated for its remarkable track record. By seamlessly blending his design acumen and financial acuity, Muyiwa exhibits a unique ability to uncover innovative solutions that transcend conventional thinking. Beyond his professional achievements, Muyiwa's deep-rooted desire to tackle our city's most pressing challenges shines through. Recognizing the profound impact of design, he pursued certifications from TU Delft and Wageningen universities in sustainable urban development. This knowledge equips him with the tools to address critical urban challenges, creating sustainable and innovative solutions that enhance the lives of countless individuals. Guided by a profound desire to nurture the potential of young minds, Muiwa dedicates himself to empowering others and guiding them toward a path of lifelong success. As the visionary behind Levin's crisis, he serves as a beacon of inspiration, helping others unlock their full potential and achieve extraordinary success in life. Muiwa's journey began with a first-class honors degree in mechanical engineering from the prestigious Ladoke Akintola University of Technology. Fueled by a fervent drive for nation building and leadership, he endeavors to make a lasting impact on society, embodying the spirit of a true visionary. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming one of our facilitators with a big round of applause. In person are Mr. Muyiwa Olasindi.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, sir. Welcome, sir. You're highly welcome to our Amidst, sir. We are glad to have you. Welcome, sir. Can we all just drop some messages to show like hospitality kind of? So welcome, sir. Welcome, sir.
All right,
Okay.
cool. Just to confirm, can you guys hear me? Am I audible enough? There you. Okay, cool. All right, amazing. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, let me just go ahead and share my screen. So glad to be here. And I really enjoyed Mr. Shola's session. It was really impactful, and it's amazing for me. I learned a lot. I had to jot down some certain things um, to more like modify my mental model about some certain things. So thank you, sir. I really appreciate that. Let me go ahead. Okay. Excellent. Yeah, can you guys see my screen? Just confirm. Again. Okay, cool. So the same topic, thriving amidst life Caprice. And it's interesting that this topic is one that I really want to share things about, mainly because one, it deals with life, and two, because it deals with people's struggles. And these are things that if you don't talk about or if you don't express it in opinion to people, others won't know what is going on around people. So we only assume that everything is perfect with some certain people. And for us, when we are in that position, we feel, okay, maybe life is just happening to us. Why to other person, everything is perfect. But we just get to know that it's not it. That's not how things are really. Things can be very, very tough for everybody at some, I mean, at different points or um, at different thing or at different pedestal of life, kind of. All right, so let me just go ahead and move to next. So I wanted to define what life Caprice means, and then I tried to bring out some definitions so that we can understand. It said it refers to the unpredictable nature of life, right? It suggests that life can be full of unexpected twists or turn, where events and circumstances can change, right? And then they can change without any reason. So even despite our best effort to plan to control our life, external factors and random occurrences can influence our path and outcome. So this serves as a reminder that the life or the journey or whatsoever thing that you are doing, um, it has a whole lot of uncertainty. And uncertainty make you to understand that even while you are going towards the path and then you have everything planned out, you have every single thing planned out that at this age I'll do this, at this age I'll do this, at this point I'll do this. There are many things that can occur and choke everything and disrupt the whole flow or disrupt the whole planning, the whole strategy, the whole thing that you have in your mind and that you have put together. And this is what we are talking about. Yeah, I wanted to bring out this image for us to understand some certain things. And why I brought out these few persons out of everybody that I could have is for me to be able to talk about some certain persons here and for you to understand. I might not pick them like how they are, I might just pick them randomly so that we can understand. So one of the first person I wanted to talk about is who we all know, and that's Selena Dion. And we know how to be a musician or a singer, as people will put it. And one of the funny life occurrences that happened to her, it was at early age. I think she was a teenager when she lost her father. Then when she got to a particular age, she had they call it is it vocal nudity or something, and that deals with our vocal cord and all those things. So they had to do surgery, and then they did the surgery for her. Few months after that surgery, I think, few times after that surgery, her brother had cancer. So it's another thing again, and then that cancer took his life and become a burden to her. She has complications. She had complications during pregnancy, and it's added to another thing. Her health throughout her career was another thing. She had different surgery at different points where she needed to treat these things. The last surgery she had, that's when she stopped her musical career. Presently, she can't work. She is more like paralyzed. And this is someone that had almost like the great life, almost this famous lifestyle that everybody wants as a singer. Everybody know her song. I mean, for people that are millennial, I don't know if the new guys know her song that much. And everybody know her song, know how beautiful she sings. And this same person have a whole lot of life issue going on around her life that makes it seem as if the world is going to an end. Another person is Christiana Patterson. Christiana Patterson, her mother and her father met when they were young. And at that point, as she said, they met like love at first sight. Her dad saw her mom, and then she loved her, and then she was beautiful, nicely dressed. Every single thing was wonderful. And then they continue their love journey, and everything was nice, was I mean, very good. Then they gave birth to their first daughter, and then they gave birth to a male, and then they gave birth to Christiana herself. So what happened is that after some particular age of the first daughter, she had what they call schizophrenia, and then is a mental disorder. So what that mental disorder does for people is that they will have some sort of hallucination. They have social disorder, and they have a whole lot of mental issue. So what it means is, even if she is with every other person, she can just be on her own and then begin to see as if someone else is speaking with her, or things that is happening to her. And sometimes you might just move away from every other person in that room because of the social disorder. And then she has physical inabilities, a whole lot, right? But this is something that they did not know until a certain age. And then the brother had, okay, before the brother, Christiana herself had cancer. So she had to be treating it and trying as much as possible to be fine. While our brother had like more like anxiety and depression. So the three children have one thing that they are treating. So the family now became something else. The family that this man and this woman saw themselves, love at first sight, more like Romeo and Juliet trying to do their thing, now becomes a family whereby they are treating mental illness, or they are treating one thing or the other. So what happened is that the brother died, the first daughter also died, and then the only person that remained that is still fighting cancer as of last time is Christiana. So Christiana Paulson is still alive, and she's a journalist. So she's the one that wrote all the story of what has happened in their family. So this is family that they have the mother and the father have like a future for their children. You know, they have the perfect love, if they put it that way. They have everything. But then the mother always put it that, why is it that she is the one that have that scenario? Why is it that her daughter or her children is not even one, it's not two? The three of them have different mental issues or different medical issues throughout their life. Another person is Charlie Munger. Charlie Munger is one of the greatest investor, right? It might not be investor like Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett and Charlie, they are partners. For people that know Warren Buffett, anyways, so they are partners. So what it means is that they are both rich, extremely rich. So what happened to Charlie was, Charlie's son had to commit suicide at a point in his life. Why Charlie was this top person that is making financial whatsoever, and everybody knew Charlie to have this great mental model. But at a point in his life, his own son had to commit suicide. Crazy things, right? Something else happened to Buffett too. Now Charlie is paralyzed. Not necessarily paralyzed, but he's still paralyzed because they had to take him to wheelchair. Though he's old, he's 93 or thereabout. Another person I wanted to talk about is Ray Dalio. Ray Dalio is a great guy. He's part of the Forbes 500 or whatever it's called, and he's part of the 50 richest person in the world. I don't know what exact number he is, but that's why I have to put him in that bracket of 50. Ray Dalio, what happened is Ray Dalio owns an investment, more like an hedge fund, they call it in the finance term. So after a point in his life, he's running it and everything is working very fine. But at this point, he made a bet on a financial situation. And what happened is that it backfired. And backfire for finance is not a small thing. It could mean the end of the whole thing. So what happened for him is that at that point where he was making a whole lot of money, and then the company was established, what was making a huge amount of money, he had to calm down. He had to leave close down the company, let the people go, and he himself, he had to return back to his father. So at that point, he had no money. He had no money, he's zero money, that he had to borrow $4,000 from his own father to be able to live. But now Ray Dalio is a big guy, he's huge. He was the one who wrote Principles. You can check the book out, and it's a whole lot of amazing things. We all know Oprah Winfrey, for many people. And then she had her own share of the whole thing. Even up to sometimes, maybe some years back, you see that she's still fighting with what do they call this body kind of thing. She's fat or chubby, anyone they want to put it. So, but she still have that thing. Whenever she looks at herself, there's this thing that come on her and make her not to accept herself or appreciate herself because of her body structure. And this is person that once she comes out and says some certain things, everybody appreciates, everybody believe it and say, oh, this is nice. Every other person know about Steve, you know about Luda and these people. So this everyone that I put here, they have had their own share of crisis. They have had their own little share of crisis. Is when they become known that we know them, is when they talk about some certain things that we know them. But they've had little things, they've had here and there. Malcolm also had his own share. Malcolm is one of those intelligent guys that you could see anywhere in the world. But he had his own share, right? Let me move on. All right, so I want to say, which is this? The word is, it's not always the most talented who change the world, or the most beautiful who enjoy marriage, or the most skillful who will valor the all. That you would have seen even in football that most of the people that are very skillful, they can do here and there, they can move from one place to another and move amazingly. These are not people who end up to win whatsoever it is that is that recognition. Even people that are very beautiful, are very what is it called? Everybody admire them. They can still have that thing and look at themselves and feel maybe they are not good enough. Right? Even the one that feel like the most talented might not be able to recognize it and see it, right? So it says it's usually those who understand man's limitation lies in the belief of a future he can't see. Because man can go as much as he can see or be good to see. So what I mean here is that you can go as much as your eye can envisage, and also as much as someone else can pull you to see. So you can have a situation whereby someone is going to a university and then just resuming for the very first time. You can see the graduation, but you can have someone in 500 level and then they can pull you through that journey easily, right? Even though you are not seeing it perfectly, but this person is saying they can pull you into it. Or you can see as much as the environment creates, which is something I will talk about along the way. Let me go there. So this was talked about by Christiana Patterson doing our own talk. And it says that there is a deep hold on desire for man to always go for the certainty, even while he talks about the uncertainty. What it means is that there is this point in us or everybody that we would just want to do what is safe, what doesn't require so much of struggle or so much of adversity. You just want to live life in a way that is balanced. You don't have too much struggles and everything is comfortable. You can do this and do this. What people call soft life. But what happens is that soft life doesn't get to history at all. If anybody that is a bit soft life become like a common man, and by the time you become the common man, there's no way history can even recognize them. Right? Because people that make us become what we are in the world today are people that go into that uncertainty and create an economy in that uncertainty, and every other person follows them. Let me give you an instance. There were times where before now that the financial economy that we have now is not like this, right? There were times in Nigeria whereby if you have 200 naira, you can be fine. If you have 500 naira, you can be fine. There was a time in Nigeria where the highest money that we have based on, paper is 20 naira, and everybody was fine. The whole economy was okay, right? But there were some other person that now begin to disrupt the whole system and say, no, we could do it better. We could do it this way. Every single person that did not have opinion because they were afraid of whatsoever thing, they had to follow that thing, right? It's just the way that it works in the finance. Let me put like stock market, etc. If everybody says that Apple is doing fine, Apple is a great business, Apple is this, what happens is that the market goes up for Apple. Now, that doesn't mean Apple really is doing anything, but because of that combined definition or the combined valuation of that product, then the value rises up. If everybody decides today that, oh, iPhone is great and iPhone should be sold at, let's say, 1 million naira, and we all agree, and then what happens is that we put the valuation on iPhone, and iPhone goes up. So in life, there are some certain persons that go ahead and create a channel, they create a path in this uncertainty, and they make every one of us follow it. There was nothing like you going to school to go and study doctor, to become a doctor, or going to school to go and study to become a whatsoever other thing. But there were some persons that that look at it and say, in this particular thing that we are going, we could create something that looks like education. We could create something that make people go to certain things. And then we now spend like 12 years or 15 years of our life in that system that someone created. Why? Because that person feel like, okay, this is how we can make people do these things. This is how we can make people be different. This is how we can make our system to work as we want it. So let's create this and let every other person follows. So that's why it is important for you as the person that you must embrace uncertainty. Because if you don't embrace it, every other person or another person will embrace it and create a culture, and then you have to follow that culture. If you don't embrace it, someone else will create the workflow for you. It's just like you want to do some certain things in your life, and then you are feeling that this is not secure. Instead of me doing this, why not just apply for this thing and then be living my life and then continue like that? What happened is that you continue what another person has created, but that thing that you have in mind, that you could have created another path for every other person, because you are afraid to go towards that route, because you are afraid to go towards that line, then you cut that route, and then you stay within that confinement of whatsoever I've prepared. Because why? You just want to embrace certainty. Right? And this is another thing, the eighth wonder of the world. One beautiful thing is anybody that understands this concept really can be anything, that can be exceptional. And the concept of compounding. Now, compounding in normal sense is used for finance, right? Or investment or all those things like that. You say, oh, you want to compound your fund, you want to compound your investment, you want to compound your retirement, you want to compound your savings, and then go through that investment channel, right? But one thing you have to know is that every single thing in life compounds. One, fear compounds. Let me give you an understand. And that's why some person will say it doesn't matter. When people say it doesn't matter, you have to be careful, because it does not matter truly in the aspect of where they are saying, because it cannot do anything. But it does matter because it has created a possibility in your mind for you to do that certain thing again. Let me give you an understand. Let's say someone says, oh, let's pick money for me. I'm just giving as random time. Oh, let's pick money for me and use this for this thing. Or you are running a business and then you want to pick money. I say it doesn't matter. Let's just pick the money from the company business and use it to get what we want to get, and then we return it later. It doesn't matter really, because you said you return it later. But what happened is that it has created a hole in your whole system. Your whole system, it has created a hole that because you have done it once, it gives you that leverage to be able to do it another time, and then do it another time. So what happened is that get to a point whereby you are not even, you don't feel anything by taking money out of that place. And gradually you are now heading into bankruptcy. Another thing is our little lifestyle. Because, oh, I can do this small thing, I can do this little thing, I can do this little thing. Before you know it, you end up in a situation where you don't even bother about it. Someone that you started to watch a movie, I'm just putting that example, no issue with anybody watching a movie. You started to watch a movie, let's say 30 minutes, and say, it doesn't matter, it's just movie. And then you put it to 1 hour per day. And then before you know it's 2 hours. It gets to a point where you are comfortable in doing that certain things over time. And before you know it, that 1 hour can compound to 5 hours without you thinking about it. And then begin to reduce other aspects of your life. So you must understand that every single thing in life compounds. Laziness compounds, fear compounds. If you are afraid to do a certain things, you have to do it anyways. Why you are doing it is not because of the fear. You are doing it because of what the fear will instill in you for the future. So if you are afraid to do a particular thing now, right, when it is a little thing, okay, let's say, oh, let's do this. You are afraid to do it when it's a little thing. What happens is that when it's not that big thing, you not even have it in your thinking that you could do it, because you've allowed fear to cage you. And then it compounds to big thing and the like. So, and also, habit compounds, ignorance compounds, yes. Ignorance compounds, then wealth compounds too. And investment is compounding, right? Investment, that's the ideology of investment. Okay. I say why perfectionism in a life journey doesn't make history. There is this thing that I think, was it Bill Ackman or was it Redalio that was talking about it? And they made mention of someone in Columbia School. So what happened is that they went to business school. This guy and Bill, is that Bill or Ray? This guy, they went to business school, and throughout their stay in business school, even right from college, there's this particular guy that they know. And this guy came from a rich family. This guy is very intelligent. I mean, super intelligent. So what it means is that he every single thing in business school, in college, is doing everything back to back. He just playing everything. By the time they went back home, at home, everything is settled. Their family have the financial fund, their family have everything. So it just like life was just perfect for him. Every single thing was perfect for him. There wasn't no much issue. If he wants to do something, there's provision for him and the likes. But Bill is not like that. He has to struggle for many things. He had to do this, do that, do this before he could even go back. Sometimes he gets good grade. Sometimes the grade might be poor and the likes. And when they graduated, right, and because this is real life story, so it's not like when they graduated, one did not still work. No, when they graduated, both of them got work. He joined JP Morgan. That's the other guy, which is the rich guy, joined JP Morgan, and Bill joined another organization, another hedge fund. So what happened is, in the first 1 year of him joining JP Morgan, he was excellent. I mean, he was just doing everything excellently well, and everything was fine. But this guy hasn't faced a quarter of life yet. The first time life facing one-on-one, he could not recover. This guy that went to JP Morgan could not recover, and that was the end of the story. Everything was cut short. But this other person that has faced different things of life, when life happened to them at another point, because they have gotten towards that life adversity, they have tackled it, they have moved forward again. They get to that point, they tackle it, they move forward again. So what happened is that because of that opportunity to do some certain things, even when life hits them, they already built that shit to be able to take it on and continue. So when things now happen to them later on, they just feel like, oh, it's normal. We just learn from it and move on, right? So their own mental model about it is that, oh, it's normal. I learned from it, then we move on. Oh, it's normal. We learn from it, then we move on. But this guy hasn't faced it before. So everything looks new. Everything looks like the world was collapsing. And history argued that the world really collapsed on him. And then he could not recover. He put all to now. So what am I saying is that if you expect your life to be so perfect, to be so easygoing, to be so this thing, the truth is the person cannot make history, or the person cannot make anything meaningful at the end, because it will be so perfect that it cannot resonate with another person. You get, right? So your life will be so perfect that another person cannot learn from it because it's too far perfect. Right? It's just like when you are in school and then you see this guy, he just having 5.5. You be like, wait now, guy, be too. Why are you having at that top, right? And then you see someone else have it 5 points today, and then the next time you see him having 3.5 or something, and then you move forward again and learn, and it's now 4 points, and then it comes out, it's now 4.7, and then you go forward, it's now 4.2. And so what happened is that he has his own share of life, and because he had that share of life, what it gives him that resilient spirit that when he go next, you know what he's doing, you know how to do it, and then he moves and adjusts, and then before you know it, his story can resonate with another person. He can share his story and everybody gets it. Remember the story of Patterson, that the family, Patterson family that I talked about. Imagine if this person or this family is now trying to share their story to another person. No matter who you are, you will be at that point that their story really makes sense to you, because you know that these people really go through life. They went through what they really call life, right? And if you see them smile, you know that no, if these people can smile in this situation that they are, definitely I can smile in whatsoever situation it is, right? And then you begin to learn from it. And I will talk about the other one. Also, what I wanted to talk about is that every point in history is a crossroad. And this is one thing that I can share a little bit of my own story. I remember when I wanted to go for service, I guess. Yes. No. After our camp thing, then I came back to Southwest from the northern part of Nigeria. And when I was at Southwest for some time, so I was at that point of making a certain decision. And the decision is I have a work that I wanted to do, and the work will what's it called? Is in between. If I stay to do that work and I did not go back for NYC at that point, I will have to repeat NYC all over again. Or I just go for NYC and do the whole NYC and then we are done. So I was at that point and I wanted. So, and now it's more easy. I mean, if I look at it now and look back, I see it's more easy. I'll just say, hey, leave NYC and go your own way. But then it wasn't that easy because I was in that point. I was in that crossroad, right? And then what I just did, okay, what is the right thing for me to do? What will I regret? Which of them will I regret afterward? Let's say 2 years or 1 year afterward. Which one will I regret? Will I just go for NYC and say, oh, everything is normal and then we continue life? Or do I want to go for this uncertainty that I don't know what will happen afterwards? So I decided, oh, let's go for that uncertainty. And that uncertainty that I went for has created more opportunities for people that I know than even myself. Right? It has created more opportunities for other people and the lives, and it has helped many other persons, right? But if I hadn't gone for that, I would just be normal and just live life. And I feel that, oh, maybe that's the safest way. So sometimes you just want to do what is uncertain, but you know that you have a feeling that it's the right thing. You have that thing in your mind that says, yeah, this is the right thing. I just want to go for it, right? And many other things. So what now happens is that by the time you make the decision to go for that uncertainty, right? It doesn't mean that everything will be smooth. It doesn't mean that everything will be smooth. What it means is that even in uncertainty, there's still uncertainty, right? It means that when you get to that point, that crossroad where you now decide that let me go through this route, right? By the time you get to that route, along that route, there will still be other junction. There will still be other crossroad. That at every point you have to make decision. That do I really want to continue or do I want to go back? It's just when CEO for Airbnb was discussing about their company and talk about how they were losing it at the point, they were struggling. So it's either they go back or they try it and go again. And because everything was tough at that point, I think everything would just want to collapse. I think they have to embrace it and see what will come out of it. At least they have to try this and see if it will work well. And they tried it and they are still here and everybody still appreciate them, right? And then I say every crossroad has its own requirement. And this might make me move a little bit because I just want to share something with someone that I think might be helpful. And which is, if you have something you want to do, let's say in the next 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, right? And you have it in your mind that this is what you want to do. One thing that can help you is almost every single thing that you want to do have a requirement. Let me give you an instance. Let's say someone wants to become, you want to run a venture capital, or you want to become an investor, or you want to be an entrepreneur or something. And it looks as if it's difficult. That uncertainty is there and the world is very difficult. So what you want to do is you want to go ahead and see the requirements of other people, the requirement that people have set. Another, how it works is, let's say you have a job requirement and you know you want to become, let's say, a product designer for a company in Nigeria. So what you do is go to the requirement of companies abroad, the global company, and see what exactly they want from this same kind of person. So you now bring that requirement back to you and then analyze the requirement and begin to learn based on that requirement. So one thing it give you is that it help you to get propel in growth. So you move very fast than other person that just want to do some certain things, right? Because you now have a wider view of what to learn. And because you have a wider view of what to learn, your valuation increases, right? So that same thing, every crossroad have its own requirement. There are some crossroads that you cannot climb unless you have that minimum requirement. And the minimum requirement will take you to stress yourself, to go through that pain, to go through that point whereby you have to do something out of it. So for uncertainty is not laziness. Uncertainty means that you want to go through that pain and you want to see what will become at that end of the whole thing. So you want to try your best, go through it, learn from it, reflect and do another thing, learn from it, reflect and do another thing, and go forward, right? I said outside the sky is blue. Yes, very true. At the end of your point whereby things are uncertain, or even in that journey of uncertainty, one thing is there is that the sky is always blue. And when the sky is blue, the sky is beautiful. There is hope, right? If there's anything that you'll be having in your mind to do, you don't want to get it to age 50 and then you look back and say, hey, I could have done this, but I did not do it. I could have tried this and see what this will become, but I did not, right? Everybody respects people for their decision, but there are sometimes that it is fear that has restricted you from doing what you want to do. The fear of, if I do it, what will become of it? But another fear, if you don't do it, what will become of you? Will you still be in that same position? Will you still be in that same people or that caging? So you want to really define it and see what exactly is the main thing. I say in crisis lie the greatest opportunity, and in transition lie the greatest order. Right? It means what makes things difficult at that point where you want to cross are those points that are very difficult. But by the time you enter into that system of uncertainty, things begin to get clearer. It's just when Mark was talking about Facebook, at that point where they were running Facebook, they just started and things was a little bit difficult. But along the way, they begin to get clarity of what he wants to do. Everybody knows that the visioning or the vision of Facebook when they started is not what they are today. I mean, they could not envision Facebook to be what it is today. But along the way, clarity becomes to come in. When I wanted to start like a picture poeta, right? I just look at it that what will I do? Like, what is it? Should I not? I don't think it's necessary. I don't think this should be it, this should be that. There are a whole lot of uncertainty, there are a whole lot of confusion, right? But just, let's give it a try. Let's see how it goes and see. And funny enough, the more you give it a try in that uncertainty, the more it becomes clearer. The more you go forward in that uncertainty, the more it becomes clearer. And then you begin to see, and the dot begin to connect that, okay. And before you know it, you are in depth into it, and you have learned different things, you have experimented, and then you become better and better. This might be the last one I want to talk about because of our time, or maybe second to the last. And which is evolution. Evolution is a concept that is really, really powerful. Like, I know I said powerful in compounding, right? And this is another thing I'm saying powerful. Why I put it that way is because these two things, evolution is the concept that every single thing changes, right? Evolution is a concept that has gone through our human race. Some persons believe that we came from another species, another human species, right? Before we become sapiens. So there's another species of Homo that is different from sapiens, right? So they know another species too, right? And they believe that this species made with Homo erectus and gave us something else that we have. And then there was another evolution between that one and another one, and it gave us what we have as Homo sapiens. And then before we know it, and we are now where we are. And different evolution that happen for different human race. They have their own different or unique superpower or unique strength or something, right? But that's part of evolution. Another thing is the evolution of modernization. Like I said earlier, you remember there was a point for people that are millennial, there was a point that they were using kobo. There's a point that they were using shili in Nigeria, right? There was a point that they were using that the highest fund or the highest money that we have, like I said, was 20 naira. I think that should be around 98 something or thereabout. Was 20 naira. It means that if you have 20 naira denomination, you can be the baba of everybody. But now imagine that you have 20 naira so today, you can almost not buy anything. Like almost literally, maybe you can get pure water. And in some places you cannot even get sachet water, right? So what happened is that things will definitely change. Now you have something like AI. AI wasn't there like a few years ago. Why? Because people have made different things, and we are changing, we are evolving, we are making different things. And one thing about life is people that decide not to evolve will definitely go into extinction. It's as simple as that. There is no logic around it. Whether the person is the richest, if he doesn't evolve, and we would have seen it in different companies, Nokia, BlackBerry, a whole lot of companies that at the point they were like the top of the game. But if you decide as an individual not to evolve because of the situation that is happening to you, what happens? You begin to go into extinction. So what you want to do to yourself is like this adversity or this thing that you are facing is a point for you to evolve. There's still a thing that you need to shed off and begin to bet a new thing that is still within you, that hasn't shown yet. There's another layer of your skin that hasn't shown yet, that only adversity can peel off this upper one so that that beauty of the inner one can show. But if you don't allow that adversity to peel off the upper one, you feel like this skin is the most beautiful of all that you have. But by the time it's peeled off, you begin to see another layer that is even more beautiful, right? And that's the concept of evolution. It drives everything. It makes changes. You see different things begin to change. You see that there were a point whereby people don't necessarily have to go to school to study maybe medicine before they can practice it. It might not be called medicine, so to say, but at least to heal people and clean people and the like, right? You get to see that it wasn't like this. Everything wasn't just well organized. There was a point that you don't even need to get a visa or get a passport for you to go to another country. There was a time like that. But there was evolution. Everybody began to change things, begin to change some certain things. There are some countries now that are some years back, they were nothing. Anybody can enter the country. Now they have become a super country that before you can enter, you need to go through different documentation. So what you want to do as an individual, you want to evolve. You want to always evolve. Be a person that if I come to you today and say, hey, this and this, by the time we see the next month, you have evolved. You have changed, you have learned new things, you have grown, you have become a new embodiment of some other things. They don't just have to see you, because it would be a bad thing if Nigeria of today try to consider the Singapore of, let's say, 20 years ago, and now, and you did not see any changes. And then that's the problem, because other people will be evolving. You are not, because of something that is happening, right? And then you now look at another country, let's say something like UAE or something, and you go back and look at them some years ago, you see that they've evolved, right? Country like Ghana, they've not. Country like Nigeria, we've not. Country like other things, we've not over time. Why? Because we are static. We are not looking at that point that evolution is something that is a must for everybody. And because of our religion argument or religion this thing, we restrict ourselves and don't embrace uncertainty. Like we restrict ourselves and be like, oh, we are comfortable, let's just stay with this comfort and be like that. But there are some other persons that they are going into it, they are evolving. And one of the things about this whole thing is that a system that involves we coordinate every other system that do not. It's just how in mechanical terms, any system that evolves, it will be like the controller of every system that is static. Because if you tell them to move that way, that's how they move. If you tell them to move the other way, that's how they move. And that's the one thing that happened in the world today. Because of the people that, even in AI now, you see that most of this thing that we have in AI, maybe Silicon Valley or other stuffs, or this developing country. So what happened is that every one of us is moving towards AI. Now, we all have to use ChatGPT. We don't have to use this one. We all have to use that one. Why? Because a system is evolving, while another system is static. So the static one has to follow the one that is evolving. And which is very powerful. If we understand this, I mean, we could do a whole lot of things with it. I think I have like 2 or 3. Okay, let me end it in next 2 slides and stop it. I have a few more, but let me just stop it in next. Then I want to talk about personal evolution. And this is one thing that Mr. Shola talked about too. Reflection, right? Pain is not equal to progress, right? The fact that you have adversity doesn't mean you'll be progressive. The fact that you have things going on in your life and be like, oh, why is this thing? And then you say, oh, there's better future. Oh, there's better future. Of course, there's better future. But better future will come as a result of reflection, right? So you have to reflect on the pain. Okay, now that I'm going through this thing, what do I need to checkmate the pain and reflect on it? See where growth can be possible, right? Imagine a Dalio that lost everything to $4,000. I mean, to zero. And then his father gave him like $4,000 to be able to live. And then he built everything back from it, right? How he was able to reflect and learn that, okay, what happened at that point? What could it have done better? What are those things that he needs to do and put in place? And then he begin to do them. He begin to do them, adjust it, and make things. And now we know him to be one of the, if not, he has like the portfolio that has one of the greatest return over time. Another person is Peter Lynch. Peter Lynch up to now has one of the best returns so far as far as investment is concerned, right? And all these people, they have to go through that point of pain. But reflection is really important. Without reflection, there's no progress. If you just feel like, oh, you are in that point of pain, you are in that point whereby things are difficult, but you are not reflecting to know what exactly to do at that point, to take yourself into that place that you can do something different. You can do something in a different way. You can make it in a better way. There's no personal evolution. And like I said, evolution is almost like about everything. It's the baseline of almost anything that do with growth. If you don't evolve from what you think, it's just like many people in their mental model. And one of those things that used to affect people is once you have a baseline of how you think about life, let me put it that way. They have the way that they think about life. They just stay in that cage and feel like, oh, this is it. This is the perfect thing, especially when it comes to the religious people, right? We just cage everything and say, oh, this is how it should be. This is how life should be. This is how things. But they don't allow that opportunity to be able to learn. And if you don't allow the opportunity to be able to learn, you will not see the beautiful aspect of life. Because the truth is, there are some aspect of life that you will not see unless another person shine this exposure to you, and the person shine it to you and let you see that, oh, there's another way of thinking, there's another way of doing things that is different from the way you are doing it, right? And that's why for me, I used to love to listen to these guys or listen to different people and hear, oh, how their opinion about this thing is, oh, interesting, how their opinion about this one is, and then bring it together and learn, right? Even your reflection could be as a result of another person's pain. You could get another person's pain, reflect on it, and look at what exactly it is, and how can you make a progressive action? How can you make something better from it going forward, right? Yeah, I think I just want to stop here, not to take too much of our time. So I will say this is like something that everybody know, right? And because everybody know this, it becomes not so helpful for people, right? But you must always understand that if it's possible to learn about all these things, to learn how these things work as they are like this, and be able to solve the basic need. I mean, if you can solve, uh, of course, this thing can go different way. You can solve self-actualization, but it's not easy to go up the pyramid. So I believe you could, if you can solve the baseline, it will be easy for you to go ahead. But there are some aspects that you can be omitted or can be adjusted accordingly. The first to reach up to the safety need can be, but the social need have to be what's it called, revamped. You need to understand what each of these part of pyramid means to you. You need to understand what safety need means to you and be able to pen it down, write it down, and know what exactly it means. Because if you don't do all these analysis or some terminology, there will be a whole lot of assumption in your life. That if you don't begin to look in depth and understand that what exactly does social need mean to me, what is that root word of all these things to me, how do I take them as important, or is it another assumption of another person that I'm living with, right? Because sometimes people have defined how some certain words should be or how some certain meaning are, and because of that we take it into our life and begin to use it to run our life. Right? But if you look back and try to look at all those words and then break them down, do more like an analysis of it, and then you begin to understand that, oh, there are some things that can be manipulated, or there are some things that I can do differently from the way everybody is doing it, and I'll have the result I want to have in my life. This is just by the way. I know of someone that now I think she's 45, if I'm not wrong, and she said no to marriage and no to children or whatsoever. And at first I was like, my what's it called? My religious mind in quote at first were like, this person doesn't know what they are doing, or this person has blah blah blah. So I make a conclusion at first, and then I went back and analyzed my conclusion and see that, guy, you did not even understand a whole lot of things about this same situation. There are 1,000 things that you don't understand, and then you are making decision on just one thing out of it. If life is like that, then maybe, I don't know. So I had to go back and do my analysis and understand that I am saying from one perspective of life out of many that are. If I want to really understand things, I need to first calm down on my own ideology about things and listen to people's ideology about things and be able to understand that why is this, why are you making this, and reason with people. By the time you reason with people, one, it will give you freedom of your own mind. And two, if at all you want to help the person, to be quite easy for it. But first, you have to liberate you from your own caging. Because if your ideology is just about what you know, one thing is that you are in a bondage, you are in a prison. If all things that you think is just about what you know, you are in a prison, right? And then you need another person to deliver you yourself before you deliver another person. So I think I'll just stop here, not to take too much of our time. And I looked at time, I think. So thank you so much. And that will be the end of my presentation.